Good morning, everybody. Again, I'm vlogging, or not vlogging. I'm, in a sense, I guess it's vlogging, but I am making a video in my car. I am safe, it's stocked, and I will be watching the road, not the camera, all the time. The only time I watch the camera is when I can. So I wanted to talk about another topic that I think is important to talk about. I've been watching some YouTube videos. I watch different families on YouTube, and I've gone back and watched like old ones, and it always makes me, well, I kind of like it when I watch videos where a mom is breastfeeding, so like any of her concerns that she talks about, it kind of gives me an idea for a video. And I'm also on a Facebook group for other certified lactation counselors or breastfeeding peers or IBCLCs, and somebody mentioned this recently, and I thought I think it's really common because of how much we as a mom want to do good, and so we go and we prepare ourselves for the best breastfeeding experience, and then the baby comes and it's not what we thought. The baby won't latch, and we've been told to try feeding them with a cup feeding or a syringe, whatever way that would avoid a nipple. And so that, we do everything we can to make sure that we don't confuse the baby with any other nipple, and we don't give formula because we don't want to ruin the baby's stomach and their system. We want them to have just milk, but our milk has not increased yet or come in. We don't like to use come in because your milk is there. It's just the colostrum or the liquid gold that's there. The milk that will increase by day 3 to 5, that's a different milk, and it comes in great quantities until the baby tells your body how much it wants. That's why it's so important to breastfeed as much as you can, even if the baby is like feeding constantly, because they're kind of like putting in their order for milk. So what do you do if the baby cannot feed and you've tried hand expression, you're not able to get much out, the baby's crying a lot, not gaining weight, not peeing in their diaper, not pooping, and your milk has not come in yet, and you are frantic? What do you do at that point? Do you keep just trying and giving the little bit that you have? And then also, how do you know that your baby isn't getting enough? Like, that it's just your concern, but not necessarily an actual problem. And what I would always like to say is, if you have any doubt, you should get someone who can help you. WIC has peers usually. They can observe you feeding. They can talk to you and get the information they need. How much baby weighed at birth, how much they weighed when you went home, how much they weigh now, that kind of thing. Because it's diaper output and weight gain that lets us know. But in those first few weeks, milk, getting that baby fed is important because of jaundice. You need to get that meconium out, which is that first stool, which is a tarry black stool. And if the baby's not getting enough of the colostrum, they only need like a quarter of a teaspoon in the first day. And then the second day, it's a little bit more, maybe about the same, but it will increase like every day or so. It increases. And by day 3, when your milk comes in, day 4, day 5, the baby's stomach is growing. It's not huge. It's just the size of maybe like a medium-sized marble. But it is still really important that you, okay, I gotta get my cards out here, it's really important that you make sure that baby is getting the food they need. If the baby is not getting the food they need, and this is how you're gonna tell, if the baby is not wetting at least, okay, they should have 1 wet diaper on day 1, 2 wet diapers on day 2, 3 wet diapers on day 3, 4 on day 4, 5 on day 5, and by day 6, you're looking for 6 wet diapers a day in 24 hours. After that, just 6 wet diapers a day. Of those 6, you want 2 to 3 stool. Stool is anything that's bigger than a quarter, like so much amount out, but about bigger than a quarter. You're not going to expect a lot on day 1. You're not going to expect a lot on day 2, but by day 6, you want to be going through those 6 diapers and you want to be seeing stool. If you're not, then we have a problem. And if you're dealing, hold on just a minute. Okay, I'm at the bank, but I will roll up my window a tad here until I hear from them. So hand expression, emptying those breasts, is that what I was talking about? I don't even remember now. I got distracted. I had a phone call while I was at the ATM machine, and now I'm in the lot going to deposit some money. So I'm kind of like, one ear is waiting for them to say something to me, and the other ear is trying to remember what we were talking about. So we're talking about whether or not what to do if a baby is not getting enough milk. And this is something that you have confirmed. It's not something you just feel in your heart, something you've confirmed. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not right in your heart, but what I mean is you have to confirm it, because automatically our first inclination is to think that the baby's not getting enough milk. Every mom thinks it. I have seen so many moms, and every single mom has a moment where she thinks she doesn't have enough milk. Sometimes she's right, and sometimes she's wrong. But there's facts, there's things to look for. And that's what I want you to look for. I don't want you to listen to somebody telling you you have plenty of milk. I don't want you to listen to somebody telling you you don't have enough milk. I want you, and that includes yourself, I want you to look for the facts, the proof that if you have milk or not. Now, remember those baby dolls? Thank you. Remember those baby dolls that you would feed and they would pee, right? And the exact amount that went in is the exact amount that would come out. So what you're looking for is, number 1, the biggest proof of milk transfer and the baby getting enough milk is diapers. So like I mentioned, day 1, day 2, day 3, you're looking for the amount of diapers. By day 6, after day 6, you're just looking for 6 diapers in 24 hours. So what I always would tell a mom is, whenever you have doubt and you're not sure, pull out 6 diapers, set them wherever you change the diapers regularly. Look at the clock, write it down, whatever time it is. Let's say it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Write that down, pull out those 6 diapers, set them down, and start counting. Once your baby has gone through all 6 diapers, and of those diapers, at least 2 to 3 are stool. A lot of times it's every single diaper that you get a little bit of stool in it. But at least 2 to 3 of those are stool. And you're seeing the stool changing. It's changing color. It's going from the black tarry stool to where it's starting to become a mustard yellow. That's what you're looking for, and it'll be runny. Sometimes it can look like diarrhea. It's not diarrhea. That's the way it's supposed to look. But that's what you're looking for, that change. So that is your number 1 biggest proof that your baby is getting plenty of milk. Does that explain why they're crying a lot? No. Does that explain, their crankiness or their colic or gassiness? No. Those will be things that you'll have to start ruling out once you rule out milk supply. So once you've ruled out milk supply, you're going to start saying, okay, what else could make my baby cry like this? Could it be overstimulation? Which means, are they being held too much, touched too much? Is there too much light, noise? Every baby's sensitive. I had one baby, he was my third. He didn't want to be held and rocked to sleep. He wanted to be wrapped and put in his bed. That's how he wanted to sleep. But it took me a little while to learn it because my others wanted to be held, especially the one right before him. He wanted me to hold him 24/7. So I had to learn that the reason he cried was never because he was hungry. It was always because he was tired and he wanted to be put in a bed and left. He is 11 years old and he is still that way. Like, he goes to bed on his own. Like, if thank you, you too. If he is tired, he just goes to bed. I remember when he was like a newborn. Not a newborn. I remember when he was like 12 months old, just a year old, and there was his cousin came. And his cousin was more like my second son. He wanted attention all the time. He cried all the time. He would cry because he was hungry or cry, he wanted attention. Like, he just cried all the time. My son never cried, but when he did, it was for one reason and one reason only. Even at a year old, he did it. But I had to learn this about him, that as soon as he started to cry, I realized that he wanted to sleep. And I remember realizing that he would not cry because he was hungry. He wouldn't even let me know if he's hungry. And so he could go without eating if I forgot. Like, if I forgot to feed him, which you're not going to forget to feed your kid, but there were times when I'd be like, he hasn't even cried, and it's like time to eat. But guess when he cries? When it's time to go to bed. That's when he cries. So it's really important to start to rule out other things as well. But let's, for the sake of this video, say that there is a true problem, and there is. It's been confirmed. There's lots of proof. So what do? I don't want to give formula. You have to realize that being a good mother is not what you feed your baby. It's giving your baby what they need, even when it means a sacrifice on your part. So you want your baby to be happy, and you want your baby to be to have healthy stomach and whatever, but the most important thing for you at this point in time is to put aside the feeling that you're a bad mom if you have to pull out that formula. You're going to be making a great sacrifice in your heart because it's not what you want to do, but it's best for your baby at that moment. But does that mean you give up on breastfeeding? Does that mean it's going to ruin? Some babies just like bottles, and they do get a bottle and that's it. That's all they want after that. But it's not as common as you might think. If you want to give formula through a syringe or a cup or some other feeding way, like a supplemental feeding supplementer where you attach it to your nipple so they're still feeding on your nipple, you can do that. But you need to pull out the formula if you know for a fact that there is a milk supply issue, and you take care of that. That means after you've given that bottle, you never want your breast to go without feedings. So you're going to pump, you're going to hand express, you're going to do whatever you have to do to make sure that you get your milk going, since the baby can't do it. Hold on just a moment. Okay, I'm back. So I had to run in and drop this thing into the post office. So now you're going to pull out that formula, but I want you, before you pull out formula, before you do any of those things, to confirm it with yourself by looking for the tools of diaper output. The other part is weight gain. They look for a 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce a day. But what you're looking for is consistency. So I know a baby who was 0.335 ounce or 3.33 ounces a day, and he stayed that way his whole entire, breastfeeding time. Now his mom did end up supplementing at least twice a day, I believe, because she had did have a issue with milk supply due to hormone problems. So in this case, she came to me and we talked about it, and I got her information. I checked the baby. I went with, I am not the type of breastfeeding specialist that will tell you, you have plenty of milk, go home and just keep breastfeeding. I'm going to do whatever I can to help you increase your supply just because you feel you need to. So I'm going to take you at face value. If you say you don't have enough milk, I am going to say, okay, this is what we can do to increase it. I'm going to tell you how you can increase it. I'm going to tell you what to do to increase it. It's a supply and demand. So the more your breast is, more the baby feeds on it or it's pumped, the more milk you're going to make. That's just the way it works. Yes, if you have hormone issues, it can cause problems, but not hormone issues in the sense like, oh, I just had a baby, so my hormones are all messed up. No, this is like somebody who has true hormone problems. So you need to be working with somebody you trust, whether it's a breastfeeding peer counselor, whether it's a CLC, whether it's an IBCLC, or whether it's somebody at the La Leche League, or somebody who's a really experienced breastfeeder mom, and she, is helping you, through it, and you trust her and you feel that she's giving you good information. And I don't want you to go in thinking, that it's all or nothing, because it isn't. Sometimes we have to offer that bottle. I had to do it. My daughter was born too early, and I could not get enough milk out to feed her in a 24-hour period. So she got at least one formula bottle a day since the day of her birth, and she was born early. And I hated it, but you know what? She was getting breast milk. That kept her stomach and everything, going well. And so that's what you're looking for. You do the best you can, but you make the sacrifices you have to make. It's going to be time. You're going to be pumping and doing all this extra stuff, but in the end, you just do the best you can. And if it means you end up on formula, whether it's a full formula or whether it's just partial, just a bottle a day or whatever it is, you're doing it and you're providing for your baby. And that's what counts. That's what I want to see you the most. That's what you should feel proud that you're making the best decisions for your baby. Don't feel you've failed. That's the point of this video, is I don't want you to feel you failed. You have not failed. So that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will answer them. You can check my Facebook page. And I haven't been doing a lot on Instagram, but I'm going to try to get more out on Instagram. So definitely check out those. I'm going to go for now. My husband is coming and we're going out to lunch. So that's it for now. Again, any questions, please feel free to comment. You can email me as well. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video.